Hello and welcome to Rise and Unwind. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week we try to talk to people from across the country about things you could do in your neighborhood. And on this week's show, we got this.
We also have some Slap Your Mama here, and this is a gumbo mix. So if you want to cook gumbo, unbelievable, here.
I had to do practice with the doves, releasing doves. But that was kind of it.
Or this guy behind me, and I'm not talking about the guy decorating them, I'm talking about the green made out of split pea right there.
All of that and more right here on Rise and Unwind. Do you ever wonder what it really takes to turn an old house into something fresh, warm, and full of life? Fixer to fabulous fans already know. It takes heart, talented, and a whole lot of Mars magic. Dave and Jenny Mars are back with a brand new season dropping December 2nd, and they're diving into everything from storm-damaged homes to charming historic makeovers. And today, we've got the duo, so let's talk to them. Dave and Jenny, how are you, my friends?
We're fantastic. How are you, Dan?
I'm doing pretty good. I wish you guys could come to my house and help me. This place was built in 1905, and it's just like drives me insane. It's horsehair in the walls and stuff, so I need your help.
Oh, yeah. Horsehair plaster, yes.
We can relate. We have a 1903 house, and it's always needing work.
It's like I can't put a nail in, otherwise I will get half the wall to come back crumbling onto the floor. And I'm like, I need that Jenny and Dave Mars magic, my friends.
I know, but the historic homes just have so much charm and character, and like because they're so challenging, they have to, or else you wouldn't be able to put up with it.
If there was more charm, it would be called Bewitched. That's what I think it is. Too much charm, I think. So this new season kicks off with you guys renovating a tornado-damaged home for your child's preschool teacher. What made that project feel so personal for you and your family?
Gosh, the tornadoes that went through that night, they touched or affected just so many people in our community. One of them being our son Luke's preschool teacher, and we were there the very next day helping with the cleanup and just the devastation. They were one of the worst hit areas. It was awful. A place that you really should feel the safest in your home that was taken from them. So from the very first day to almost a year later, when they figured out insurance and everything to be able to then start the renovation, we were able to put so many things in that will protect them and their home, their family from future tornadoes, and the whole community came together. It was just a full circle moment that was, I don't know, it was really kind of needed for our area with all the damage that happened.
And you guys have completed more than 300 homes together. What's something that still surprises you when you walk into an older house for the first time?
Oh, I was going to say that we've completed 300 homes together. That really surprised me.
There you go.
I don't even, the math. I think I feel like, and you may get this because you're also in an older home, but I feel like homes, you walk in and you can feel it, like you can feel something in a home. And it's either good or bad. But there's some homes you walk into and you're like, I just can tell this home has had happy memories here, and it's such a special place. And I'm always curious about the history of homes and the things that have happened within that home and the lives that have been lived there. And so for us to be able to take an old home where generations of families have lived in, and then to make it work for a family now, like a modern family, and to renovate it in a way that's super functional. But really, we try to always preserve the history as much as we can. I love that. I love working on historic homes. Both of us do. Those are our favorite for sure.
It goes back to a time when, the character in the home, not only on the interior, but on the exterior, was so much more important. So to be able to add in our own touches or just bringing that character back to life again it's special.
I think in my house, the character is brought by skunks in the crawl space. That's that little magic that I get sometimes. But
that's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, exactly. Jen, you always add these thoughtful touches that feel so connected to the family. How do you translate who they are into design choices that actually really land?
Yeah, I feel like that's one of my favorite things that I get to do is to try to make the homes personal. I don't have to live there. These families live there, and I want them to feel like I don't want them to walk in and think, oh, this is Jenny Mars. I want them to walk in and say, this feels like me.
Yeah.
So we really do a lot of pre-work that you don't necessarily see in the 42-minute episode, but we really try to get to know the family, get to know the things they love. Just talk to them about their story. Their story is so important. And when you go into someone's home, it should reflect that story.
Yeah.
And so those little touches, sometimes they're really small. I mean, I don't know, like this last house we just revealed, there was a recipe that our homeowner mentioned that her grandma had made that was really special to her. And so we just engraved that on a cutting board and put it in the kitchen. And like just something small like that really was really, really meaningful for her. And I think those little touches are what, to me, are my favorite parts of the renovation.
And Dave, your craftsmanship is a huge part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
What's a build or restoration this season that really pushed your creativity?
Oh, the stairs, right?
Yeah, we renovated a small cabin that we just didn't have room for a staircase. We had this really great loft space, but we didn't have room for a set of stairs just for code. So we actually. I don't want to mess up the episode, but we have a collapsible staircase that kind of folds out and then goes back into place. And it was such a challenge to figure it out, but it turned out so cool. It's really neat, and it's become an added feature of the house.
Well, thank you two for joining me today. Maybe one day I could be on a future episode where I could go from funky to at least fixer. From where I'm at now, okay? But check out the brand new season of Fixer to Fabulous on HGTV and stream past seasons anytime on Max. If you want more behind-the-scenes stories, design ideas, or updates from the Mars family, you can head to hgtv.com/Fixer to Fabulous. I want to thank you two for joining me today, my friends.
Thanks for having us, Dan.
Thanks so
Appreciate
much.
you.
Bye.
Do you ever wonder how someone so monstrous hid in plain sight for so long? Peacock's new limited series, Devil in Disguise, John Wayne Gacy, peels back the layers of the crimes and centers on the lives that were forever changed. So joining us is the star of the series, Michael Chernus, who takes on the role of Gacy with a careful human lens. Welcome to the show, Michael. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I want to thank you for being here. What drew you to this role, and how did you approach portraying Gacy without doing the thing where a lot of them do, like glorify him?
This is a great question, and thank you for saying that. I was hesitant at first, to be honest. I didn't know if I wanted to tie my name to his name for the rest of all time, and I didn't know what I could bring to this story that hadn't already been done before. The story's been covered ad nauseum since 1978. But when I talked to Patrick McManus, our showrunner and executive producer, he told me this idea of focusing on the victims and their families, and that we'd have these like short stories in every episode where you would meet some of his victims before they ever crossed paths with John Gacy. And that was really intriguing to me. And he also told me that we weren't going to see any murder on screen, and that he really wasn't interested in showing the killer clown persona that we all know so well. And so for me, that was really interesting and intriguing because, like you said, I could just focus on the man and who he was, and not sensationalize him or certainly not glorify him, but really just to show him as he was, so that maybe we could begin to understand why he did what he did. And one of the things I discovered was that he was just hiding in plain sight. He was a real kind of just regular guy, a blue-collar suburban Chicago contractor, and nothing that sort of spectacular, interesting about him. He would just kind of blended into normal society, which to me is actually much more terrifying than some, mustache-twirling villain character.
And the show highlights missed opportunities and systemic failures. What did you learn about how this went unchecked for so long?
That was one of the most disturbing things doing the research, was seeing the systemic failures and institutional bias that allowed Gacy to get away with this for so long. A lot of his victims were young men who either came from, poor families, backgrounds that the police didn't seem to care about. They wrote them off as runaways. Some of them had drug problems. Some of them were sex workers. Some of them were homosexual. And so often the police would just kind of look the other way. Gacy's name was brought to the Chicago PD a number of times. And they would interview him, and he would often say, "Oh yeah, I met that kid, but the encounter we had was completely consensual. The sex was consensual, and I don't know where he is, or I drove him back to work, and I don't know where he went from there." And so the cops kind of turn the other cheek a lot of the time. And another piece of it is that the technology now is so much better. Back then, police departments didn't speak to each other the way they do now. John Gacy had been arrested in 1968 in Iowa, but when he got released and moved to Chicago, the Chicago PD had no record of that prior felony.
And as an actor stepping into a role who did something so heinous in real life, how do you explore creating that character for yourself without either going too deep into it or making it too much of a parody?
Yeah, very carefully is how you explore it. It's really tricky stuff. One of the things I discovered about Gacy was just that he wore these different masks all the time. That he said it himself. There were these different versions of John. There was John the contractor, John the politician, John the family man. And so I started to realize in scenes I didn't have to play the entire human being all at once. I didn't have to show all of the darkness. I was just playing the version of him in that scene that he wanted you to see, you being whoever was in front of him. And so he really was a master manipulator, in my opinion, and he was a chameleon. And so he could kind of be whoever he felt like you needed him to be in that moment. And as an actor, that was a great gift because I didn't have to show the darkness all the time. But it was tough. It was tough not to take it home with me at the end of the day.
Michael Chernus, I want to thank you for joining me today. All 8 episodes of Devil in Disguise, John Wayne Gacy are streaming now on Peacock. Open up the Peacock app or visit peacocktv.com and search Devil in Disguise, John Wayne Gacy. Michael, thanks for joining me, my friend.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Do you ever wish you could pull off the perfect diamond heist and just disappear in a cloud of smoke? The new suspense thriller, Now You See Me, Now You Don't, brings the 4 horsemen out of retirement, or maybe 5, we'll find out. There adds a new generation of illusionists and stacks the decks with mind-bending twists, prison breaks, and one very big diamond. Lizzy Caplan is back as magician Lula May, who's suiting up with the horsemen for their wildest caper yet. Lizzy Caplan joins us now. Lizzy, thanks for hanging out with us, my friend. How are you?
Thanks for having me.
All right, the return of Lula May. Fans were buzzing when they realized Lula is back in this movie, kind of right in the middle of a big diamond heist. What was the most exciting part about slipping back into Lula May's world of cons, disguises, illusions, and injuring yourself violently?
Yeah, well, that's pretty much everything. I love playing this character. She's ridiculous. She doesn't shy away from being ridiculous. Her tricks are insane, and her attitude about everything is pretty bonkers. So any excuse to slip back into her shoes, I will happily take. Not to mention, I love all of my castmates so deeply on this one that it just doesn't feel like work when we get to make these movies.
And pushing the magic further, this one feels bigger and let's just say, I guess, twistier.
I agree. I think there's more twists in this one for sure.
From your point of view, how did Now You See Me, Now You Don't raise the stakes compared to some of the earlier films?
Like you say, they just the locations keep getting more wild and far-flung. The thriller itself, the heist itself becomes bigger and bigger. And the performances, I hope, become even more fun to watch as we really settle into like playing these characters now for many, many years. And
you were mentioning some of your favorite people are in this film. We could go through the list, like Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Dave Franco, Isla Fisher, Morgan Freeman,
all great.
Pike. Yep.
A pluses across the board.
But you got newbies in here, Ariana
Yes.
Greenblatt, Justin Smith, and Dominic Sessa. Any
Yep.
words about them?
They were amazing. You know, you never know if new people, especially with such a huge generation gap, are going to vibe as well as the rest of us do. And they absolutely did. They fit in seamlessly. They are wonderful additions.
And just to let you know, I don't want to expose myself like this, but I'm a magician. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm a magician. So I heard that you guys work with real magicians and consultants behind the scenes. And who were you learning from on this film? And what kind of magic trading looked like for you this time around? And who told you all the secrets?
Yeah, I have to say I had very little magic trading, kind of no magic trading on this third movie. I had to do practice with the doves, releasing doves. But that was kind of it. The rest of them had to go to magic school. They learned a bunch of stuff. I learned stuff on the second movie. I'm not a magician. I didn't keep it up. So now I once again know no magic.
Okay, we won't hold it against you. You do
Thank
make
you.
magic look really cool, because I know magicians and not a lot of them are as cool as you guys, all right? That's how I just gotta say.
Hey, listen, thanks.
Why see it in a theater without spoiling any of the twists? What do you hope audiences feel when the credits roll, and why is this kind of the heist movie that really plays best on a huge big screen?
Well, I think that there aren't as many movies these days that feel like they were meant to be watched in a movie theater with an audience of people where you're eating popcorn and just enjoying it with a room full of people. It's one of those movies. It is pure entertainment. It's not for sitting and watching it on your phone, although I guess if you want to do that like down the line, sure. But for your first viewing, you should go to the theater, bring your family, bring your parents, bring your kids. It's genuinely fun for people of all ages. These movies don't come around that often anymore.
Lizzy Caplan, I want to thank you for joining me today. You can catch Now You See Me, Now You Don't. It's in theaters now for showtimes, theaters, and more on the film. Head to nowyouseeme.movie and look for the hashtag Now You See Me on social media. Lizzy, thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for having me. Have a good day.
Have you ever wondered how a state tells a story in just one parade float? This year, Louisiana is back at the Rose Parade for its 5th straight year, showcasing the food, culture, and teamwork that define the state. From the Gulf waters to the kitchen table. So joining us today are Louisiana Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser, Agriculture and Forestry Commissioner Mike Strain, and Chef and Louisiana writer Neely Frentz, who are all part of bringing the Gulf to Gumbo float to life. Welcome to the show, you three. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you. Doing well.
Louisiana is back at the Rose Parade again this year. I talked to you guys last year. What keeps bringing your state back for a 5th time?
Well, it's a great opportunity to highlight the food, the music, the culture to the world. And at the end of the year, when everyone's talking about where you're going to go on vacation next year, what better time to showcase Louisiana and get people excited about coming to see Louisiana eat some of our good food.
And we have so much to offer. And that's why we're talking about, we got a big seafood gumbo here on the float. And we have more than 400 fairs and festivals. And most of them are about Louisiana crops, seafood, our food, and it's just a whole lot of fun. We're talking about, we have Louisiana rice, we have crushed oyster shells here, and we have all of our wonderful certified Louisiana products. So we're having a true celebration.
And there's a big spotlight on Louisiana food with this float. Why is that such an important focus this year?
Well, you know, we've got our chefs here, all the products that go on a pot of gumbo. And Louisiana is about food, it's about fun. And so given an opportunity to bring all those together, we've got one of our shrimpers riding on the float that actually goes out and catches that great Louisiana seafood. So it gives us an opportunity to highlight all those great products and all the great people that make Louisiana special.
And I've heard the term certified Louisiana. What does that mean, and why does it matter to both visitors and some of the local producers?
So that is a program in the Department of Ag and Forestry. More than 800 companies are now certified Louisiana. Fresh, local, certified Louisiana products, certified Cajun, certified Creole, certified farm to table, certified craft beverages, and it's the unique products of Louisiana. These products are grown here, they're processed here, manufactured here, and then when you see that seal, you know you're buying a taste of Louisiana.
All right, can you walk us through some of those Louisiana products that people actually see represented on the float this year?
Oh, we absolutely can. If you look at some of our wonderful products, And you look at Uncle Larry's seasoning and flavor, and Uncle Larry will be on the float with us today. We also have some Slap Your Mama here, and this is a gumbo mix. So if you want to cook gumbo, unbelievable here. And of course, we have our camellia red beans here from Louisiana, our kidney beans. We have Heritage Pepper Company from Covington, Louisiana, some of our fine sauces as well.
And that's where our chef's from.
That's right.
One of our great chefs in Louisiana, where her restaurant is in the North Shore in Louisiana.
That's right. And our magnificent Louisiana rice is represented here today. We have the finest rice in the whole wide world.
And it looks like tourism and agriculture are usually, they're usually talked about separately, but in Louisiana, they pretty much overlap. How do these two worlds work together?
Well, it works great together because of the great products of seafood, and then we also partner with our local chefs that bring that love and passion to each of those restaurants throughout Louisiana. So it's important to highlight those restaurants and chefs as well on the float this year.
All right, Neely, tell us about the area you're representing on the float and what makes it special.
Well, so I'm a chef and co-owner of Lola Restaurant. We're in downtown Covington, Louisiana at St. Tammany Parish. So I'm here representing Visit the North Shore. It's the best shore in my opinion, but I'm a little biased.
But it really highlights so many special places in Louisiana. And each area of Louisiana has a different flavor, a different culture, and great chefs.
And a state truly is a gumbo mix of people, all coming together. And that's why it's so exciting to be here today.
And Neely, why were you chosen to represent the North Shore as part of this year's Louisiana Writers?
Oh, well, I've been a business owner for the last 20 years in St. Tammany Parish. So I'm a good representation of someone that is trying to give back to the community and just being a local chef and supporting local seafood. Just love Louisiana.
And as a chef, how would you describe the culinary scene of North Shore right now?
Oh, it's vibrant. It is on fire right now. We have so many new, wonderful restaurants coming into town. So I strongly encourage anyone who comes to Louisiana to come visit us on the North Shore. And
do you have a favorite North Shore dish or specialty that really captures the flavor of the region right now?
Well, really anything that has Louisiana seafood. I was a past queen of Louisiana seafood. So I love Louisiana seafood and I will stand by it.
We have the finest seafood in the whole wide world.
Oh, I want to thank you three for joining us today. I'm so excited because I'm going to be out there watching you guys go by, and I hear you guys got entertainment for us.
We've got our own John Foster, American Idol runner-up. We'll be performing for you live as the float goes by. So looking forward to that as well.
All right, so where can we go for more information and maybe even book a trip to go check out Louisiana?
ExploreLouisiana.com. Come see us. We love you in Louisiana.
I want to thank you three for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's to you too. Have you ever thought about how much creativity could come from one place? Mississippi is bringing that idea to life at the Rose Parade with a float called Where Creativity Blooms, celebrating the artists, writers, musicians, and storytellers who've shaped culture far beyond the state's borders. So joining us today is Rochelle Hicks, director of Visit Mississippi, and Mississippi native and musician Charlie Worsham, who's here to show how the state's creative roots continue to inspire visitors today. Welcome to the show, you two. How are you?
Thank you.
Thank you. We're great.
All right, so the float is called Where Creativity Blooms. What inspired that theme, and why does it feel like it's the right story for Mississippi to tell right now?
Well, Mississippi is a story, and we are a place of storytellers. And no matter what creative bent someone from Mississippi might take, whether it's the many musicians like Elvis Presley, B.B. King, Pop Staples, Jimmy Rogers, the father of country music, Jimmy Buffett, modern day groundbreaking artist Hardy, Tammy Wynette, Conway Twitty, or stars of stage and screen, talking about Oprah Winfrey, Morgan Freeman, Robin Roberts, someone from behind the lens that makes great movies, Tate Taylor, or this guy behind me. And I'm not talking about the guy decorating them. I'm talking about the green made out of split pea right there, Kermit the Frog. They're all from Mississippi, and they all have a story to tell.
So I love that you guys are highlighting Kermit, Jim Henson. Why do you feel that it's such important to include that symbol?
Well, who doesn't love Kermit the Frog? And it's just a great example. You know, the story basically is that a young Jim Henson, growing up in Leland, Mississippi, out of boredom, which so many of these legends, sometimes that's how the story begins. They use their imagination to combat the idle time. Well, Jim Henson's digging through the closet at home, finds a raggedy old green coat, cuts it up, glues a couple of ping pong ball eyes to it, and the Muppets are born. But you can also read those stories in the works represented on the side of this float because our literary heritage is second to none. I'm talking about William Faulkner, Tennessee Williams, Eudora Welty, Willie Morris, Greg Iles, Jesmond Ward. And it's not just the friendly ghosts. Those last couple of names I'm mentioning, especially Jesmond Ward, Donna Tartt, Wright Thompson, they're all making history as we speak. And right now, as we speak, someone's watching this from Mississippi, and they will go on to change the world. And you can connect these stories and the people that tell them to the places in Mississippi you can visit and experience for yourself.
Charlie, you also built a career in music, but also in storytelling. As someone from Mississippi, how does the state's creative culture shape artists who come from there?
Well, I do believe, I call it the power of dirt, where you're growing around the things around you. Your sense of place informs everything you do in art. And for the last year, specifically, to answer your question, one of the most gratifying experiences for me has been working with Rochelle and Visit Mississippi on the Mississippi on the Map podcast, which I host, in which I explore why Mississippi is the birthplace of America's music. I've had the chance to interview Mississippians like Wright Thompson, chief writer for ESPN, Morgan Freeman, who needs no introduction, Hardy, as I mentioned earlier, Marty Stewart, Chris Stapleton. And, Chris is not from Mississippi, but Chris is one of the many who understand that if you start tracing your favorite song, you're eventually going to be led back to Mississippi. And those stories on the Mississippi on the Map podcast are connected directly to what we're representing on the float here today. That's what we hope. We want people to see this float, see the performance, be inspired to book that trip, and then download some episodes of the Mississippi on the Map podcast to listen to on your way there.
And for viewers that are inspired by what they're seeing, what are some places around Mississippi where they can experience that creativity in person?
They can go to Roanoke in Oxford, Mississippi. They can go to the birthplace of Kermit the Frog in Leland, Mississippi. They can go to the MAX, the Mississippi Arts and Entertainment Experience in Meridian. They can go to the Orr O'Keefe Museum on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. They can check out our Mississippi Writers Trail, which is all over the state, along with our Mississippi Blues Trail, our Mississippi Country Music Trail, also our Mississippi Freedom Trail. There's just so many opportunities and so many diverse ways that a visitor can experience our state.
Yeah.
All right. And if people want to start planning a trip built around Mississippi's arts, music, and culture, what are some of the best places to go for that information?
Absolutely. They can go to visitmississippi.org. And if they want to learn more about our float, they can go to visitmississippi.org/rose/parade. And also be sure and go check out Charlie's podcast, MS on the Map, where he explores the reason that Mississippi is the birthplace of America's music.
That's excellent. I want to thank you, too, for joining me today.
Thank you.
Hey, I want to thank you for tuning in to Rise and Unwind. If you want to be a part of the show, just go to our website, riseandwindtv.com, fill out the form, send it in. Maybe you could be on a future episode. We're on social media, Facebook and Instagram. Plus, you can find our YouTube channel at Rise Unwind. And until next week, that was the show we like to call Rise and Unwind.